man.
Everyman Podcast. Daryl Campbell, what's happening?
Nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing what every man does every day, one step at a time, bro. Just staying blessed, staying blessed, staying highly favored, and just enjoying my time with my bro, Justin Vijay.
That's right. And most important, staying hydrated.
That's it. I'm a big
Hydration
man.
is key as we
Yeah.
get into these warm months approaching here. So today we have a awesome conversation on deck with Tennessee Titans wide receiver Tajae Sharpe. Dude is just he's a awesome guy, great rapper, great musician, great artist, great athlete, awesome head on his shoulders. It's a really good conversation. I think there's a lot of stuff that anybody can learn from here. You know, whether you're an athlete or musician or you're like me and you're crushing it in an office place somewhere right now listening to this. This is some really good stuff. So we haven't talked to you guys directly in a couple weeks here, so we wanted to give you a little fill in on what's been going on. We're sailing along in our cosmic canoe, me and Daryl, and we're looking to expand the Everyman Podcast. So real quick, I've been talking about it. T-shirts are finally here.
Merch. So
we've got an awesome T-shirt design that'll be up this Friday. The pictures will be up on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and you can order one of those directly from us right there. So send us a message if you want one. Merch. And we're going to be taking our first field trip this week, Daryl.
Oh, we will. And it will be grand.
That's right. We're going to be journeying to the legendary Tower Theater in Upper Darby, Pennsylvania to see Dream Theater.
Yeah.
Friends of the show, Dream Theater. And we're going to be doing an interview with their drummer, Mr. Mike Mangini.
Mm-hmm.
So to all you drummers and Dream Theater nuts out there, stay tuned. Yeah, so if you're at the show and you see us, we're going to be wearing our merch because that's what you do. Mm-hmm. You wear your own merch.
Big swole.
That's right. There'll be a big one and a little one. and you see us, you won't be able to miss us.
You can't.
So if you see us, no, you won't miss Daryl. If you see us, come say hi, and we'll have a beverage and enjoy the show. So it's going to be a good time. So what's going on in your world, Daryl, other than crushing it at NFL Films?
Man, you know what? Sometimes I feel like it is my world, but since every man has been in it, it's so much greater. But for the most part, just crushing it here at NFL Films. I'm here right now. Got some shows to cut, some things to do. And I'm talking to my brother Jay, man, just trying to get it in, one day at a time for our Everyman people, bro. That's it.
I love it. Well, let's kick it over to our conversation with Mr. Tajae Sharpe. And we're going to play a cut from his new record that's available on Spotify and iTunes and Apple Music and Tidal and SoundCloud. It's called First Quarter by Show. And this track that you're going to hear is Julius Erving. So enjoy it.
Turn up.
Stay with the best for the proof. Throwing the ones out the roof. Serve out the coop. She give me with no tooth. I put them hitters to use. Younger was born with the juice. And I'm about business, so I'm a flex in the suit. Sticking, I move with the loot. Hit from the back, gotta met me the two.
No regular crew. Try to kill me and my shooter gon' do what they do. My hood like a zoo. Nigga, feel it this summer, they gotta salute. Could do what it do. I know these haters, they see me, they might wanna shoot. Could do what it do. But rather you die tonight, I'ma leave you. No regular crew. Try to kill me and my shooter gon' do what they do. My hood like a zoo. Nigga, feel it this summer, they gotta salute. Could do what it do. I know these haters, they see me, they might wanna shoot. Could do what it do. But rather you die tonight, I'ma leave that on you.
Julius Erving. I ball like Julius Erving. We see these niggas lurking. I be just flexing on purpose. Getting this money on purpose. Doing dirt behind the curtain. I run the city for certain. Off the act, I been swerving. I run it up to infinity. Always got the same energy. Say you cashed out as you kidding me. Hit it with a different remedy. Hop out and break in the bank. Making moves. 50 roll to the stake. These little niggas. GMR, BGE, no free shit. You hold the guns with a weak grip. Goofy plotting on the sneak tip. Told baby girl, come and peep this. I'm in the south, why they hiding? You coming right, then I'm sliding. Only power I'm supplying. They lying.
No regular crew. Try to kill me and my shooter gon' do what they do. My hood like a zoo. Nigga, feel it this summer, they gotta salute. Could do what it do. I know these haters, they see me, they might wanna shoot. Could do what it do. But rather you die tonight, I'ma leave that on you. No regular crew. Try to kill me and my shooter gon' do what they do. My hood like a zoo. Nigga, feel it this summer, they gotta salute. Could do what it do. I know these haters, they see me, they might wanna shoot. Could do what it do. news, no regular crew. Try to kill me, then my shooters gon' do what they do. My hood like a zoo. So niggas this summer they got a salute, could do what it do. But rather you die tonight, I'ma leave that on you. I'm missing a screw. How you want beef for you fool, just start calling you stew. I'm really amused. Next time you out with the butter, your head on my shoe. The money I blew. Really was money for nothing, just something to do. Don't play by the rules. I know these haters, they see me, they might wanna shoot. I keep it on mute. I get the chase in the back, then I'm chucking my dudes. Mix with the juice. When I get high, I be high, feel like I'm on the roof. Got nothing for you. When I ain't have it, you bastard, you left me the cool. Now I got the juice. So I'ma keep killing this beef till I got the juice. No regular crew. Try to kill me and my shooter gon' do what they do. My hood like a zoo. Nigga, this summer they got a salute. Could do what it do. I know these haters, they see me, they might wanna shoot. Could do what it do. But rather you die tonight, I'ma leave that on you. No regular crew. Try to kill me and my shooter gon' do what they do. My hood like a zoo. Nigga, feel it this summer they got a salute. Could do what it do. I know these haters, they see me, they might wanna shoot. Could do what it do. But rather you die tonight, I'ma leave that on you.
Ballin' like magic. The gang, you know it get tragic. Got shorty head down in traffic. I got the cash in the back pocket plastic. Stretching the bands like elastic. Survive with the fittest, I last it. Say you won't smoke, but I ash it. Bump in the gang in the whip, you can smack, you don't blast it. Julius serving. Shorty see me and start twerking. Touch me, I bet you they purging. Remember them days we was hurting. Feel like I'm Jordan. Your mother got pregnant, but kept to the store. And niggas don't hear your speech, not important. Stay in the office, they show us subordinate.
Heavy awarded. Speed while they get to the green like a tortoise. Niggas don't wait in no shortage. Run up the money, won't stop looking for it. Something to fill what up and I caught it. Shit, we got collected the money, I taught it. Stay with the drip overseas when I bought it. Forward right in and let's get in the port.
No regular crew. Try to kill me and my shooter gon' do what they do. My hood like a zoo. Feel it this summer they got a salute. Could do what it do. I know these haters, they see me, they might wanna shoot. Could do what it do. But rather you die tonight, I'ma leave that on you. No regular crew. Try to kill me and my shooter gon' do what they do. My hood like a zoo. Feel it this summer they got a salute. Could do what it do. I know these haters, they see me, they might wanna shoot. Could do what it do. But rather you die tonight, I'ma leave that on you.
Joining us today on the Everyman Podcast, Showtime Tajae Sharpe, currently playing wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans. Tajae was a fifth-round draft pick out of UMass 2016, and he is poised to break out, entering his third season in the league. He's not just an athlete. Tajae just dropped a mixtape called First Quarter, which is available on Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, and anywhere you get your digital music right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime, Mr. Tajae Sharpe.
What's up, baby? What's good? What's good?
Welcome to the show.
Me, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate you for having me.
Hey, man, we're honored to have you here in the Everyman Podcast. So one of our big things that we do here is we like to talk about the grind. So, and everything that goes into that, start to finish. So one of the things that immediately I come across when I'm doing my research to talk to you today is about your connection with your quarterback and how you're doing all this behind the scenes work. So what's that behind the scenes work like, and why do you think it's important for a young player like yourself coming into the league, or anybody really, to develop a strong bond with their teammates and the people that they rely on to get their job done?
Yeah, man, it's extremely important, to put in that extra work, when the cameras are off, when the media is not around, kind of just doing the dirty work, man. I feel that, especially being a receiver, you got to have a connection with your quarterback, man. Y'all got to be on the same page, because, in this league, man, you got routes and concepts and things like that rely on timing very heavily. And he's depending on you to get to your spots and be where you're supposed to be, because man, he got killers rushing at him, man. Coming there quick. You got defensive ends and things like that running 4-4s and stuff like wide receivers. So it's very important to put in that work, man. Just to get that chemistry down with your quarterback, so you guys are on the same page. And I feel like a lot of people don't really understand what goes in behind the scenes. That extra work you have to put in. It's not just, showing up to work and then, going home. It's film study, it's, weight room on the field. It's a whole bunch of things, taking care of your body. And, that's some of the things, the average, fan just really won't understand. So it's definitely very important.
So what do you
go ahead, Jay.
Sorry, I just want to hit on something there. So what does that look like, taking care of your body in the off season and these extra workouts? What's that look like?
It's, ice tubbing, in the off season. During practice, during the season, it's hit, being in the training room, even though you're not, quote unquote injured, you still want to be in there, rehabbing. I've started doing things like, Pilates and yoga, just to have my body feeling better, try to, stretch a little bit more, it's getting massages. It's things like that, man. It's a whole bunch of, things that, factor into it. And it's just depending on the player, what they like to do and what works for them. But, those are some of the things that I like to do to try to keep my body, as close to 100% as possible.
Yo, T, so I got to ask you a question because, you was out here a couple months back. You talked to Pemberton High School, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and it was you, it was Jay Alford, it was Mike Robb, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I got to talk not just about the little things that are poised right now, the stuff that got you balling at a high level and in the NFL. Talk to the guys out there, talk to the fans out there, our Everyman Podcast members, fan base, about the little things when you was coming up, how that positioned you where you are right now. Like Jay Alford talked about running around Orange, New Jersey before going to school at 3-4 in the morning, man. Like, yo, it's not just a grind right now. It's been a grind your whole life, man. Talk about that.
It's definitely been a grind, from the jump. And it's especially hard coming up, because being a young kid, you got a whole bunch of distractions around you. 17, 18 years old in college, it's a whole bunch of parties every night. Where you can easily get distracted, you can easily miss class, because you're out late at a party and things of that nature. So you really got to just find a way to just, focus in, find a way to lock in on what you really want and what's really important to you in life, and, cut out every single distraction that's around you. And like I said, it's not easy, man, being a young kid. You want to still, quote unquote, be a regular person and, kind of just enjoy the things that, the normal person gets to do every day. But, as athletes, we're treated different. So, we have to act as such. So some of the things that I try to do, man, was just, try to focus on my grind, times 10, just putting in the work, every chance I get just to try to become the best player that I possibly could be, because I know where I wanted to go and I knew what it would take to get there. So, for all the young kids out there, man, I would just say, cut out all distractions, focusing on what your goal is, realize what your goal is, know what it is, and just believe in yourself 110% that, if you put in the work, then the results will show.
Awesome, man.
I can certainly relate to that because as a musician, when I was young, it was the same deal, except instead of practicing, it was practicing music,
Right,
and I spent every single night, weeknight, weekends, middle school, high school, practicing. And I missed the parties and stuff, but when it was like, the truck and there's 500 people there and everybody wants to hang out, then it works out. So people only ever see that finished product, and that's something we like to hit on, is that it's like that expression, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. You didn't just show up.
Yeah, and that's another thing, with the music side of it. A lot of people think, you might just walk into the studio and just, lay down a record and then, you put it out and it is what it is. But, like you just talked about, man, there's so much more that goes into that as well. Studio time and everything, putting in that extra work, it's not just walking in there, getting on a mic and just recording and then just putting it out and then go home and then that's it. A lot of people don't realize that part as well.
Absolutely. So talking about your preparation there, and obviously it seems like, I know you're coming up on a contract here. So what are your goals on the field as far as football is concerned with the Tennessee Titans?
Right. Yeah. I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. I was talking about how, no matter who my head coach has been, or, my position coach, or, my offensive coordinator, it seems like, one message has really stuck out, the most, that everybody's kind of hit on, and that's about being as detailed as you can, as a football player. So, I really want to continue to try to, harp on the details and, just kind of force myself to be as detailed as possible at, every time I'm on that field. Like I talked about, putting in that extra work with, my quarterback Marcus, that factor in the details. If he's expecting to be at 12 yards, then I got to be at 12 yards. I can't be at 13. I can't be at 10. So it's just things like that, it could be the smallest detail that, makes or breaks a play. It could be, you mess up on a detail and you miss out on a touchdown. It could be the smallest detail. And, that's another thing that, a lot of fans don't understand, man. It could be the smallest thing that, kind of, creates what the play is going to be, whether it's going to be a failed play or a success. So, that's really one thing that I want to focus on coming into this year, just being, even more detailed than I was, from the years past.
Talking about go ahead, G.
No, take it away, Joe.
So talking about those details with respect to music, talking about those details with respect to being on the field. And me personally right now, it's kind of hard to stay self-contained because between you being able, first off, congratulations on Good Morning Football. By the way, I saw you drop the bars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was awesome, man.
You know what I'm saying? A little something for the people.
You know what I mean? They ain't even know. They ain't know what happened. You know what I'm saying?
They
ain't know. And then I got my man Jay. He's first off, my man Justin Vigil, my brother over here. He is a drummer for the band Extractor. So I'm surrounded by killers with respect to music. You dropping bars off the top of your dome on Good Morning Football, and then my man Jay, hitting that thing like just out there like just banging that thing on the kickstand. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, it's like, but how hard like between both of y'all, I'm asking both of y'all to be that creative. To drum to just off the dome, like I mean, it's got to take a next level sense almost. Like can both of y'all speak to that? Because like I'm just
for me, I've always admired people who can freestyle crazy off the top of the head, because I know firsthand that it's not easy. You got to be a different you got to be a different type of breed to be able to do that, and for it to actually be fire, like. You got to be a different type of person to be able to do that. So I tip my hat. I salute everybody, all the rappers who can, do that and be successful at it. Because I know for a fact that it's not easy. So that's really my take on it.
Jay, what about you in that drumming, man? Because you be killing that thing, man.
I think for me, it's all about memory and memorization. And also for me, it was kind of like a gift and a curse when I was growing up, because I was always getting in trouble because whether I'm tapping on stuff because of even when I'm sitting here with you now, like I interpret sounds as rhythm, and I start trying to find the pulse. So whether it's your voice or the fan going or the vacuum cleaner or the lady, my teacher writing in chalk on the board, like I would just start. So it's a constant thing, almost an obsession. And then you need to find a way to channel that out. So once I learned how to interpret that stuff and then find a channel for it that was constructive, I could do it. But the problem was I just became obsessed with it. And that's, what I touched on earlier. And it just becomes like, you love it. So you're happy to do it, but then it can take away from other areas of your life and your development. So it's a balancing act.
Definitely.
So what 100%. About just coming off of that, Brother Jay, and we were just talking about this earlier before we got on, you was talking about, I read a couple things, and you mentioned music being, it almost affording you the ability to escape, you know what I'm saying, and get into your own mode. Justin, you talking about, just that subdivision. We're talking about a subdivision of that's involved with music and undertones and notes. Like, talk about that mode. Talk about, like, I know me, like before games, I listen to Pastor Troy, vice versa. It's over. Like it's going down. You know what I'm saying? So like for you, talk about that mode that like music, I'm listening to Julius Erving. I'm listening to Mood, man. I'm listening to Drip and Swag. I'm like, yo, it's over. You know what I'm saying? It's over.
Yeah, man. That was getting me hyped up today. I can't lie.
I appreciate that for sure, man. Yeah, for me, man, I just always enjoyed music so much. It's really a song out there for every mood that you could possibly be in. So I feel like that's why I fell in love with music so much. You can just turn on, whatever song, however you're feeling, and it can be perfect for that moment. So, as far as like getting in the studio, man, I just kind of use it as like an outlet, just like another way to kind of express myself, and it's a passion. Like, you were just saying, Jay, it's kind of like a obsession, man. It's just like it's like me being on the football field. I want to be the best football player that I can possibly be. And then when I get in the studio, I want to be the best rapper that I could be. Like, I'm not just doing it, just for, hoops and giggles. Now, I mean, I really want to be great at it. Anything I touch, I feel like as far as anybody, anything you do, you should try to put your best foot forward and be great at it. So, it's definitely an outlet for me, man. And it helps me, get some things off my shoulders, whatever is on my mind, whatever I'm feeling at that moment. I get a chance to go in the studio and kind of let everything out and just let it flow, man. And then however it comes out, man, that's what it's going to be.
So who were some of your artistic influences with music growing up? And
well, growing up, when I was a young kid, I used to always, ride in the car with my pops, and he would always be blasting Jay-Z, man. So he's like, the ultimate GOAT to me. And as far as like, my time, my era and things like that, like Lil Wayne, grew up on Lil Wayne heavy. Right now, Drake, he's one of the, best in the game to do it. I like listening to Meek Mill. That's my guy. That's my favorite artist right now. Mm-hmm. And then, some artists that just came out like Lil Baby and guys like that, man, they definitely all got that zone that kind of put me in my mood and my zone. So those are some of the guys I love listening to, man. Rest in peace to my guy Nipsey Hussle, man. He was also, he's also a guy, man, that I looked up to crazy. Him and Meek Mill, as far as like, the way they carry themselves in the industry and the way, they speak. I will always like listen to interviews and pay attention to how they carry themselves and what they had to say. Because I felt like it was always, important, whatever came out their mouth. So those are some of the guys, man, that, I kind of just look to as far as in the music game. And I kind of try to study and, pick up certain things like that.
How much time do you spend writing, whether it's like just lyrically or for a song? Like how much of your time do you think you spend writing?
All right. So look, man, when I first started recording, I would like just go on YouTube whenever, I got in that mode, and I would just look up some instrumentals. And then, whenever I came across a beat that, I thought was hard, I would just pull out my notepad and I would just start, I would start writing to it or whatever. But, as of late, like recently, I don't even do that anymore. I just go to the studio. I got a producer that, just makes the beats for me on spot. And, whatever beat he comes up with, that I'm feeling, then I just go in the booth and I just start recording. So I really don't do too much writing anymore, but that's how I used to do. I used to just go on YouTube whenever I was in that mood to, let some stuff out and just get in my bag real quick. I'll go on YouTube, find some instrumentals, and then I'll just take out my notes, and then, I'll just get it going from there.
Let me ask you a question, T, because I read this and I just want to make sure it's true. I read that you started using an app called GarageBand, man. Was that for? So 100%. Tell people out there about that, man, because I used to sleep on GarageBand, but now I ain't sleeping on it no more.
GarageBand, it definitely wouldn't be your first choice, as an artist to go in and record. It's more used for like, instruments and things like that. But that was really all I had to work with. I started recording my freshman year when I went to college. And, as athletes, man, we had to be up there earlier than everybody else on campus. So, we would get our workouts in, during the day, and then we had the whole rest of the day to ourselves. We had the whole campus, nobody up there but us. So, we would get kind of bored. We would play our video games and stuff like that. But, man, after a while, I'm like, man, I need to find something else to occupy this time, man. So, one day I just bought a mic. I had my little Mac computer, downloaded GarageBand. And then, it was on from there, man. That's how I actually learned, like, the ins and outs. Like, I had to record myself. I had to, like, edit and, kind of do all that stuff myself. I had nobody. Yeah. So, that's how I kind of got it going. But, GarageBand definitely wouldn't be your first choice, as an artist, trying to lay down some bars or whatever. It's more used for, like, instrumentals and things like that. But, I made it work, man. I made it work.
You got it. There's got to be a couple GarageBand tracks, man. The people was like, yo, this still fire, T.
Yo,
this still fire.
I got to tell you, man, I grew up. GarageBand was the first like digital recording software that I had access to. So like I went from recording on 8-track digital tape to that, and I learned, that way. And some of my finest high school demos were done on GarageBand. So take those out. Yeah, man, I had auto tune on there back in, you could get anything running if you knew what you were doing. It was sick.
Yeah, so see, I didn't know all that. I just had all the basic stuff that I needed, man. I just import my beat and then press record, and I'd be able to edit little stuff like that. But that's kind of how I learned to kind of use the tools like that.
It's really amazing, like from a music production standpoint now, because like there's all these amazing tools like Reaper, which is something I use to put these podcasts together. So shout out to the good folks at Reaper. I mean, you can get that for free, and or for $50, and it's a full production suite, and you have everything you need to do, right off the bat. So like one of the things I always encourage musicians, because people ask me like, how do I get my music here or whatever? It's that consistent effort at creating it. If you're not writing and you're not creating, it's not a big chance that you're going to go anywhere with that music you're not writing.
Exactly.
That's something that's really, really important. So what are your goals with your music? Like, where do you want to end up? Do you envision yourself as like a Batman type character, like at night, shredding the clubs, or?
Man, like I touched on earlier, when I step on that field, I want to be the best football player. When I step in that booth, man, I want to be the best, rapper. So, I'm gonna keep making my material and I'm gonna keep putting it out there. And I guess just the bigger the fan base I get, as far as the music wise, then they'll just take me wherever I need to go. So, Whatever the fans want, man, I'll give it to them. Whether it's doing shows and stuff like that, man, I'm all for it. I think it'll be a bunch of fun. We seen two-sport athletes before, so I mean, I don't see why I couldn't be a football player and then do rap stuff on the side too as well.
Why not?
So, that's what I'm saying. You only got one life to live, man. So, I don't feel like you should try to let anyone try to kind of put you in a box or hold you back from anything that you want to do in this life, man. If you got goals, you got visions for yourself, then I mean you should chase them by all means. I don't see what the big deal is about it. It shouldn't be a problem with that at all. So I'm gonna make it happen, man. I'm gonna keep it going. I'm not gonna let up.
Good.
Yeah, man,
tell them about. Here's what I want you to tell people about, because here's the thing: you on your grind, you doing your thing. God is blessing you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even in this industry, in the production industry, right, Brother Jay, you can attest to this. It's so many people that when they on the grind, these cats forget to have fun while they doing it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like goals are important. I think it was once said, goals are dreams with deadlines. So as long as you keep that in perspective, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be all right. But you gotta have fun and you gotta enjoy the process. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you hear that on the team. Am I correct? Like, tell people about how you gotta keep that process in perspective and have some fun on the way, man.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely something we talk about a lot in the locker room, the football locker room, man. Sometimes it's a long season. Sometimes you're struggling. Everything's not going perfect. Sometimes we had that talk amongst each other, man. Like, man, we got to get back to just having fun. Back to them Pop Warner days. We were just out here and don't have a care in the world. We just out here playing the game because we love to. I feel like that's definitely important, man. Because if you start doing stuff and you lose that love for it, man, then it's gonna take away from the reason that you're doing it, man. It's gonna take the passion away, and it's not gonna be genuine. So I definitely think you gotta have that love, man. You can never let the circumstances or now you're on a bigger stage, NFL level. You got media and things like that involved. You got people asking you for this and that. So it's a whole bunch of factors that go into it now. But we still have to never forget the reason we started playing this game. So we can never lose that love for it, man. I feel like that's extremely important.
Do you think that social media has any impact on losing sight of why you're doing what you're doing?
Absolutely. Back in the days, man, where other guys were playing, it was less attention just because people couldn't just go on Twitter and just start talking about you and saying crazy stuff about you, and you couldn't just go on your phone and that'd be the first thing that pop up and that you see.
Right.
So it was kind of different, now than it was back then. But it is what it is, man. That's the age we live in. So I guess you just got to figure out how to just channel it and kind of tune those things out.
I think one of the things that's been so interesting for me in working with Daryl and getting to meet players like yourself is, I'm a fan, but I also am starting to see this a little bit behind the scenes, and I don't think people have this understanding because the way you guys are presented, that you're humans with feelings and dreams and emotions, and like, yeah, you're a badass and you're a big, strong dude and you can run fast, but you know what? It cannot feel good to just be getting shit on by Twitter eggs. So like, and one of the things is, and we'll get to this later on, but I put out on the Tennessee Titans subreddit, like, hey, any fans have some questions? And I was shocked at the amount of questions that were related to, are you aware of how people perceive you? And it's like, to me, I'm just like, how could you not be? And like, and how could you be so cold to another person, meaning these people, to not think that that these things affect you? So like, one of the things that I try to talk about when we have somebody like yourself on is that you're just like us, and the only thing different is your job, and you're still getting up, man, working hard, and like you're just a man like the rest of us.
Exactly, man. You hit it right on. Man, you hit it right on the head, man. It's crazy, like how people can just get on their phone and just start talking so crazy about you. But like you just said, man, like we're all humans, man. We're all the same. We bleed, we cry, we got emotions, we get happy, we sad. Like, just imagine if it was on the other end, like we did that to you, how would you feel? Like, you can't obviously you can't respond back to every single person who's doing that. You kind of got to just tune it out because it is what it is. But that's just the real life part of it. Like, you so busy criticizing me and worry about what I'm doing. Like, look yourself in the mirror. What are you doing? Like, as a man, like, are you Now I mean, doing what
Right.
you criticize other people about. So it's crazy, but that's the life we live, man. Our life is in the limelight, just because we play on the biggest stage in the world, man. So like I said, man, that's just kind of what comes with the territory, and you just got to know how to tune it out, and that's what the great ones can do. So if you want to be on that level, you got to find a way how to balance both.
How
That's
important is
great
it
advice.
to have? Oh yeah, awesome advice.
Definitely.
How important is it to have like that support system? Like we talk about GMR, you talk about BGE, that's your clique. I know it's got to be awesome to be with your boys and doing this thing together. How important is it to have people on your team that's for you? You know what I'm saying? Especially
man,
given it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's extremely important, man. Because at the end of the day, nobody can do it all by themselves. You got to have somebody that you can lean on, or a group of people that you can lean on. Kind of like we were just talking about. We all humans, so we have emotions. We all go through things in our life. So we going through a tough time. It got to be someone you can pick up the phone and call, or somebody where you can go talk to. As a regular person, not as a NFL player, or as a rapper or anything like that. Just as a regular human being, as a friend, as a brother, something like that. So it's huge, man. Nobody can do it on their own. You got to have people that have your back and support you 100%. To help you get to where you are. And it's always people that raised you, from when you were a kid, and they helped you, groom you to be the person that you are today, and help you get to the position you are today. So like I said, nobody's done it on their own, man. They always got to have somebody, a few people that they can lean on.
And that's a common thread with everybody we talk to. And Tajae, we've had some of the best producers in the world in music on here, incredible musicians, incredible athletes like yourself, and everybody says the same thing, which is you got to have that support structure, and you got to be detail oriented, and you got to be focused. And it's that everyman grind that we talk about. And when DC reached out to you about this, you guys, you felt that, and it's what we're trying to do here, and what we're building to get out there is really that truth of hard work, family, and dedication.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So I want to keep going here on the music a little bit.
Okay.
I just want to say about the production, like from an industry perspective.
Fire.
The production is excellent. You sound energetic. You sound like you're having fun, and you sound natural. The whole thing is really exciting, and I have to say, I'd love to hear it with some live drums. So when you need some drums, now you know what you need to do. You just holler right here.
I'll let your boy.
That's a dope idea, man. That'd be cool, man. We could definitely do something like that. I've been seeing a couple people on Instagram do that. The rapper the baby. I see him do that on Instagram, and Davies as well, kind of spitting some bars over instrumentals, with people like playing the violin and things like that. So that'd be dope, man, for sure.
Yeah, I'll send you some links, bro. No doubt.
So we can do that.
So one thing that I'm really passionate about, all right, is sneakers. I'm a huge sneakerhead. All right, so part of my research, it's not just looking at your stats, bro. I was checking out your Instagram, looking at your heat. Now, I want to talk about a few things. Okay, so I see some real hitters and a couple that I'd like to get my hands on, if I may say so myself. Hey, looks like you got a thing for 11s, Jordan 11s. Are those I think a PE in the UNC colorway, and then I see the tuxedos. I saw the 350 V1 Coppers, okay, the Yeezy 350s, and then the 350 V2 Belugas, which are on your record, which I have those. Those are my favorite. And then you're even not afraid to rock the UGG mid boot, which is
hey, you gotta have swag for that though. You gotta have that swag.
Because I saved that one for last, because that just shows me that not only are you a man of character, but you're a man of comfort and class.
For sure, man. It's crazy. It's crazy you brought the Uggs up, man, because they gave me so much trouble, man, when I came into the locker room with those on. They was trying to joke me so bad, man. DC, I don't know if you met my guy Eric Reeves before, man.
Oh,
yeah, man. He tried to get up.
He tried to clown you. He gonna try to clown you.
But then look, a few weeks later passed. I see more and more guys start wearing the Uggs to practice and things like that. So you feel me?
My girlfriend was busting my stones because I said, listen, mustaches and fanny packs are coming back. I said this 2 years ago. And then I had a mustache. I'm like, it's my fanny pack. And she's like, no. And then here we are. Look at the Gucci. And then here's Off-White. Everybody,
mad all the way around. I can't fit none of them doggone things, man. I got 16, 17 shoes. I can't fit no Uggs, man. I'd be all messed up.
Bro, he comes over here. He comes over to my house, and he's like, I'm like showing him my shoes, and first off, they look like they're toddler shoes in his hands. And he's like, yeah, I'd love to get a pair of Yeezys. It's just a shame they stopped, at size 12.
Yeah, you gotta hit him up. Tell him you need some custom mades, man. That's all you gotta do.
They look good. They look cold too. I can't go to Puma. I can't get no Yeezys, man. I'm all messed up, man.
I can't go to Girl. I probably get you those Shack Attack shoes. Remember those?
Oh hell yeah, man.
Tell them you need some customs, man. That's it.
I get my colors and my sizes in both. They be like white, blue, black, like straight red. Like ski.
I already know, man. I know it.
So have you always been a sneakerhead, or is this something that kind of? Because I know, and I have been. I've always been into sneakers. It's kind of like a cultural thing right now to be like into sneakers, and I feel like there's these dudes that are out there just like, here's 10 grand, give me all the cool shit that I need so I can like flex on Instagram.
Yeah,
and like,
really not knowing what they
I want to really know. Like, I don't think that's you because I the variety of the heat. So. What's your deal?
Man, I always been into sneakers, man, since I was a little kid. My dad had me in all the J's, growing up, 2, 3, 4 years old. So I always been in love with sneakers, man. I'm the type of dude, man. I'm cool with going outside in a white tee.
Hey,
a cool pair of jeans and some fire on my feet, man. I'm straight.
Bang.
I always been like that, man. So
I live my life
100% on the kick game. Yeah, I'm with you on the kick game, 100%.
Anything coming out that you're looking at? It's got your interest. Or you just kind of like you like to? Are you like an in-person guy, or do you just order them? What do you do?
Yeah, man, I kind of do it all, man. If I'm on a gram or something like that, and I see something about to drop, I'm gonna definitely keep my eyes out for it. Nothing really right now that I seen that really got my attention, but if I see something in the store that I like, or if I'm online or something like that, I ain't gonna hesitate, man. I'm gonna go in and grab those. You feel me? Yeah, that's how I go.
My Achilles heel is a fresh pair of 350s. I just saw they're about to drop a triple black pair. I was like, oh Lord.
Man, let me tell you how excited I was, man. At the combine, I signed with Adidas coming out, man, and I got my first pair.
There you go.
I was lit, man. I was excited about it. So now them Yeezys, they definitely go crazy though.
Did they give you like a link so you can just you get access to like a storeroom, or do they make you go out to the hordes with the mall like me?
I wish, man. A lot of people. They hit me up like, man, can you give me some Yeezys? I'm like, man, I'm trying to get some myself.
I bet that's the most annoying part. It's not people asking for tickets. It's not people asking for money. It's like, yo, you sign with. It's like the 10 nerds that that are like, yo, those Future Craft 4Ds. Can I get those?
But like, yo, T, you see some size 16s, man. Like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, for real, kid. Like,
nah, if I see some 16s, I'm gonna definitely look out for you, because I know it's trouble, man.
Man, it's hard out here for a pimp, dog.
I know it, man.
Trouble.
I know it.
Oh man, that's too funny.
Yeah,
I had to comment on it because it was just it was too good, and when I saw the belugas on the album cover on my Spotify, I was like, that's my guy right here.
You know it. Yeah, we on the same page, 100%.
That's right.
No doubt.
So I reached out to like I was saying earlier, the hardcore fans of the Tennessee Titans on Reddit, and got a few questions here from the fans that I'd like to ask you.
Okay.
Another observation is they love Marcus Mariota, and then some days that subreddit does not love Marcus Mariota. But I find that in every Reddit. So you go anywhere and it's like a love-hate thing, and it was kind of but there's no lukewarm opinions anymore. It's like everybody's either like GOAT or whatever for everything. Right. Like it's kind of weird. So Wono47 wants to know what your favorite thing is about living and playing in Nashville.
About Nashville, man, I really feel like the hospitality, man. The people out there are so nice and genuine and just receiving. And also the food, man.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with the food chicken out there, man. So yeah, man. And it's a great city to be in, man. A lot of superstars come to the city. So it's really got everything you need, man. Music, food, the hospitality is great and everything like that, man. So that's probably my top things about Nashville that I love, man.
Are you working with any musicians locally there or producers there, or are you working with people up north?
Yeah, up north, Jersey right now, but I love to, man. Music City, man. Why not? It's the perfect fit. You know what I mean? So I definitely love to, touch base with some people out there and definitely, put in some work with them, man. So, hopefully, after the show today, hopefully, my music gets out there a little bit. Probably a lot of people didn't even know, about my music. So, hopefully I, start to develop a little bit of fan base, especially in Nashville when I'm playing that, man. So it'd definitely be dope.
Absolutely. Well, I certainly wasn't aware of it, and like I was saying to Daryl, it changed my opinion because
I'll tell you what.
The Good Morning Football people were talking about it kind of a little bit, and it's like, is this like something serious? Yeah. Like everybody wants to, and I was just saying to Daryl recently, like all the rappers want to be actors, all the actors want to be this, everybody wants to be something what they're not. But exactly. It's awesome, man, and I really I think you're onto something there. So Silent Mace wants to know what was the hardest aspect of transitioning your game from college to the NFL?
The hardest aspect, at first I would probably say maybe the playbook, just the amount of plays that go in on a weekly basis and how they're installed. That's a little bit difficult, and maybe the speed of the game at first. Preseason. People kind of told me this, but I didn't really believe it till I witnessed it myself. Like in preseason, players are more kind of chill mode, and then it ramps up even a little bit more in the regular season, and then even more a little bit in the playoffs. So probably the speed of the game and just the playbook, man, because you're like, especially you come in as a rookie, you come in the OTAs, whatever, and then when training camp hits, you're installing every day, and you installing plays that morning, and you about to go run them in 2-3 hours, so you got a whole bunch of plays that you got to learn right now. You don't got time to look at them and then go back home and learn them and sleep on them, then come back the next day. Nah. You got to learn them right now, and you gotta know what you're doing on every single play. So those probably the two most difficult things I say coming out of college.
So I assume the NFL's not too big on try it again in the practice field, huh?
No, man. It's either you know what you're doing, or you're gonna get out and we're gonna find somebody who do know what they're doing. That's how I go.
Already.
Yeah,
man,
but when you're playing, I've did some gigs as a hired gun for a couple of big bands, and that's the way it is. You're either going to do it and you're going to do it the way I want you to do it, or I'm going to fire you and hire this other guy who would do it for $10 cheaper or whatever.
Exactly. Exactly. That definitely sounds like the business of NFL right there. Definitely.
Yeah, that's that entertainment.
Exactly.
That whole thing for you there.
Exactly.
Dishonored 15 wants to know what NFL players inspire you most. Current and growing up.
All right, man. So growing up, obviously, Jerry Rice is the GOAT. So, I growing up as a little kid, I've always heard, Jerry Rice is the greatest player ever. So started watching him. I'm like, man, yeah, I can learn some stuff from this guy. And then, as I got a little bit older, I loved watching, my guy Ocho Cinco, man. I feel like he's one of the, best receivers to play this game, man. His footwork, I really got all my footwork drills and things like that from watching him. He had hands down the best footwork, at the receiver position, to ever play this game, hands down. And just the confidence that he played with as well. The talking before the snap, line up with DBs, talking trash and all that. I loved it. And then, Randy Moss, that's probably my favorite wide receiver ever. Randy Moss, he really changed the game, man. He's a really different type of animal. As far as right now, man, love watching Antonio Brown, man. He's, because I grew up a Steelers fan.
I'm a Steelers fan.
Okay, yeah. So I actually grew up a Steelers fan. My dad was a Steelers fan since he was a kid, and he kind of, groomed me in that way. So, growing up, I used to watch, Antonio Brown and Hans Ward, Antoine Randall and all of them go to work, man. So, all those guys was exciting for me, especially Hans Ward, man. When I got a chance to meet him,
I love college.
Hans Ward, man. Yeah, man, I got a chance to meet him in college. Before we played Notre Dame, and I was excited about that, man, because I love the way he played, man, the physicality he played with, and then always doing it with a smile on his face.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't the typical receiver, man. He's gonna go across the middle, catch everything. He's gonna block, and do things like that. So those are definitely some of the guys that helped me kind of transition to the player that I am today.
That's awesome.
The truth, man. Antoine Randall was the truth, dog. He came up from around my way in Chicago, so he was. Yeah,
he went to Illinois, but he was a quarterback at Illinois, right?
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, he went to He came from Thornton, and then was it Illinois or was it Indiana? Indiana.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think it was Illinois. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
I'm not
loved
even sure.
those teams were. I mean, like I said, my family's from Pittsburgh, so same thing. The Steelers are one of those teams you kind of inherit from your family.
Right.
And growing up, just Heinz Ward was just, and I had season tickets for 2 years, so I was going out every week, and I got to see those teams, those last couple championship teams, and the NFL has changed so much, like from a fan point of view, and I'm sure you could speak to that about the speed and the physicality. And you talk about guys like Chad Ochocinco, and I wish he was been able to play in this like social media the entertainment era, because like he was just ending as this was starting to kind of kick off this new era of football. Like he would have been amazing.
Yeah, imagine him lining up with Jalen Ramsey. It would have been a show. I would have loved to see that. It would have been a show. And then also don't let me forget, as far as players as of right now, Julio and Odell, those two are receivers that you're gonna, they're once in a generation type guys.
Oh,
man.
for
So
sure.
I also love watching them two, play, man. So those are definitely some guys I like to watch, and took some things from them and try to incorporate into my game.
So I know you played with Andre Johnson.
Yeah, man.
What was that like? Because he's a guy I always looked at as one of those unspoken heroes until late in his career, when people look back at his production and like, holy shit, this guy has been the fucking truth for 10 years and nobody noticed because where he was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. It was an honor, playing with Dre, man. We called him Sensei, man. It was definitely an honor, man. That's my guy, man. That's big bro. He's not gonna say too much at all, man. He's just a dog on the field, man. You can come to him and ask him, for anything. He'll give you advice on whatever you want to know and things like that, man. He's a great dude, great human being, man, and he's an absolute dog, on the field. I got the chance to play with him at the later part of his career, so I didn't get the chance to play with him when he was at his peak, but I definitely learned a lot from him just by watching how he took care of his body before and after practices, and the things he did to get ready for practice, warming up and things like just little things like that, seeing how he played and moved on the field, how he carried himself as a player and as a man. So Dre, that's big bro, man. That's definitely an honor that I got a chance to be on the same field as him.
Yeah, and I love one of the things he does, I know, is every Christmas he goes and takes a ton of families in the Houston area out and gets them, takes care of them. Mm-hmm. And he's done something like 150 families in 9 years or something like that, where he gave like an entire Christmas to. And it's like similar to what I was saying before, where people don't think you guys are human. Too often people are talking about the negative, and they don't talk about these like beautiful moments like that, and where guys are giving back, and the when the cameras aren't there, what they're doing with people at training camp and with practice and stuff as that goes. So
yeah, he's an honorable dude for sure, man, for sure.
So
yeah. Well, Tajae, this has been just excellent conversation. Tell everybody where they can find you, where we can get your music.
Oh yeah, you can stream the music on all streaming platforms, man. It's called First Quarter by Show. Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify, Google Play Music, Deezer, whatever you listen to, you can find it on there, man. So go check that out, go download, stream it, support your boy, man.
Yo, T, before we go, I gotta say this because my wife told me to say this, and so she said, "Tell Tajae that
the white voice."
Put the white voice.
I gotta do a white voice because this got. She said, "Tell Tajae," I said, "I am so proud of him, and my favorite songs on his album are Mood, Blur, Drippin' Swag, Julius Erving, Go Crazy, and tell that young man to go keep getting his money."
There we go. Hey, tell her I appreciate it so much, man. It means everything. I appreciate the support so much, man. Tell her I said thank you.
So,
definitely.
Fantastic. Awesome. Tajae, be good, brother.
Appreciate it, man. Thank y'all for having me again, man. Y'all be good.
Thanks, T.